We are so excited to have you joining us tonight live from the Legion M Lounge at Sundance in Park City, Utah. And I am joined here tonight by a very special crew of people from Spectre Vision. We have, in front of a live audience, by the way, live studio. So exciting. So we have Daniel Noah, and he is the producer on Mandy. We have Elijah Wood.
Hello.
Producer on Mandy. Lisa Whalen, executive producer on Mandy. And Josh Woods, producer on Mandy. Oh my gosh, Josh Waller. You guys have too many.
My brother.
Woods, Whalen, Waller. It's too much. Give him this.
This always happens because we look so similar. I get it.
Yeah.
That's a compliment.
I confuse you guys all the time. It's just my own thing. So for those of you who don't know, and if you're probably living under a rock if you don't know, but Legion M is a production partner on Mandy, which is a new feature film premiering tomorrow night as part of Sundance's Midnight Selection. It's the opening movie for Sundance Midnight, which we're very excited about. And the only person in this group who has seen the whole movie is Josh.
Yeah. Yes.
So you.
It's final form.
Yep.
Okay.
So what's the question?
Final form. So Josh,
what do you want to know?
You flew it in from Belgium to get it here on time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I so badly wanted to, and boy, are my arms tired.
Tell us where you did the handoff. It's a great story.
I did the handoff in the Starbucks just right down the street while I was parked in the handicap. Don't do that, by the way. It's completely against the law.
But
laws are more
here.
important than art. Just so you know. I don't know.
Thank you. That's a PSA, right? PSA. So it's hard for me to believe, as someone from Legion M. We're a brand new company. We've only been around for less than 2 years. We were at Sundance last year just to check it out, to see what Sundance was like. It was my first year in Sundance. And we were at one of these types of lounges for someone else, and I walked down the stairs, and Elijah, you were standing there, and you were so nice, and I said, hi, and you said, hi. It was the first time we met, and you gave me a hug, and I never would have imagined that we would be working together just a year later.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
That's such a sweet story.
He thought you were someone else.
He did. Oh. Yeah. He said, oh, hi, Caroline. No, he didn't. But this is not your first rodeo in Sundance. You guys you've been here a lot of years. This is not your first movie. Last year you were here as an actor. I don't
feel at home in this world anymore.
Thank you. Yes, because I stumble over my own words. And as a company, you also had a movie here called Bitch, which I got to see, which was amazing. So how does this year's Sundance differ from last year's and all your other years before?
Well, every year is different because it's a different film. It's a different filmmaker, a different group of people. This represents, a 5-year relationship with Panos and the.
It's not quite 5, but yeah, we were trying to remember. Oh yeah, we were trying to remember. Panos and I were trying to remember when we first met, but it's been a few years.
Did you meet Panos here at Sundance?
We met Panos in L.A. He was in town for a screening of his first film, Beyond the Black Rainbow. Applause.
Yes.
Now, how many people have seen it? Not bad. Yeah. And he was in town, and we because we're film geeks, we had seen Beyond the Black Rainbow at Fantastic Fest, and all felt that Panos was one of the most vital young filmmakers living. And so when he was in town, we went after him. Yeah. Literally, we cornered him, and he came and met. Yeah, we went to Cantor's Deli. That was before.
Classic.
That was when they still in the 8th grade. That's a little Fairfax Village humor. And we just said we love you and we want to support anything you want to do. And he sent us Mandy. We flipped out over it, and we just started pleading with him to let us produce the film. And finally one day he said, "Okay, let's do it." And then it took 4 years, 3 or 4 years to put together. But I think in indie film time, that's not a lot.
No,
actually.
No, it's not bad.
Yeah. That's amazing. Well, and Panos said he's been working on this for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if you market from when he first had the idea. He's Panos is a Kubrickian filmmaker in many ways. He's extremely patient. I think for him it's more important to get it right than to produce a great volume. And so he's a lot of filmmakers we work with, understandably, are constantly any updates, any new. Panos is slow down, guys. Let's be slow, deliberate, and get this exactly right. And by the way, he did.
Visionary.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we are so excited to see the film.
So are we.
Who else is excited to see this film? So, Lisa, having been in Sundance so often, what is the secret to SpectreVision's Sundance success?
Luck. Honestly, I think it's that, especially these three guys, really, when they see a filmmaker that they love, like Panos, that's something that really blows them away, they go after it. And as the business side, I can tell you it usually doesn't make financial sense. Usually isn't what some people in Hollywood might call a good idea. But it's just passion and it's heart. And I feel like that's what Sundance is. It's people who just have to make this movie. It's not something they want to do. It's they have to make it. And I think that's led to a lot of good Sundance success.
Yeah. So when you're pitching this film, what was the log like? I mean, I see what was written up in Entertainment Weekly, but it's a difficult film to describe. It's so unique and visionary. How do you explain it to financiers when you're going after money?
Well, I mean, the fact is that you don't. Like, unless Panos is going to be in the room, then you're never going to be able to explain it and articulate it as well as he would.
Yeah.
So, he did a really great job of putting a lot of time and effort into a lookbook that had some images. I think even the one you guys released, which was the image of the chainsaw fight.
Awesome.
Which, you could almost take stills from the film and put them next to the images in the lookbook, and you might have a hard time telling the difference.
Yeah.
Like, he's so precise. So he put together a lookbook for us and everything that he wanted to articulate, and so that kind of spoke on his behalf. And then if anyone else if there was questions on top of that, then we could help fill in the gaps. But he kind of made it easy for us.
It's hard not to be excited when he's that excited, and it's such good material. I think their excitement and our excitement collectively was what worked.
Well, it goes to show what kind of company SpectreVision is. And I'd like to learn a little bit more about how you guys got together and what your goals are. But to me, when I hear SpectreVision, quality, indie, supporting filmmakers and supporting unique visions. And I love that. Is that what you set out to do?
Thank you.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, the company started, it was originally just Waller and Elijah and myself, and the three of us met on a project that I had written, Waller was directing, Elijah was attached to star in, that never came together. But, well, actually, Waller and I have known each other close to 20 years, but we met Elijah on that project. And even though that never happened, we bonded around a lot of shared values. One of them was a profound love of genre. One of them was a feeling that there could be a different kind of production company, that there were, we had often been in experiences where we felt that we had producers who were very transactionally driven, meaning it was all about the deal, not about the making of the film.
Right.
And that, we thought, well, let's try and become the producers that we wish existed, which are to say producers that actually care about the product and not just the deal itself.
And producers that filmmakers want to work with also.
Well, hopefully. I mean, we try and earn that, So yeah, it was Elijah's idea to try this, and I think, myself, my background as a screenwriter and Waller's as a director, we were a little caught off guard. We thought, well, let's give it a shot, and then, it was just something worked. So yeah, it was everything you said, and here we are.
So besides Mandy, you have a lot of other projects in development, some of which you can probably not talk about, but of those you can talk about, what can you share with us?
Okay, yeah, a lot that we can't talk about, but
so the Legion, the people,
So there's this one with this guy, right? And then he sees this chick, right? And they're like, hey, and then they do this little thing, and then that,
Go take the microphone back.
Take it.
That's how we did. There was a chick. Yeah, I think one of the things we're most excited about that we can talk about, although not in any way in detail, is we're doing a game with Ubisoft called Transference. Yeah, it's a VR game, but it's going to be available on all platforms as well. And it's very creepy and unsettling and everything you want it to be, we hope, and it's going to come out later this year. And then we have a million other films. We have a great comedy that we released.
Sure. Yeah, we have another. We shot Mandy in another film at the same time. The other film is called. Was announced under the title Corpse Tub, although we are changing the name, or we're going to be announcing that soon.
But you're not staying with Corpse Tub, which is an awesome title.
It is an awesome title. You know, it is a great title, and we'll all miss it. But
it sounds self-explanatory to me.
Well, and that, you know, as the film evolved, it became clear that title was actually a bit misleading, and so.
The tone of the film changed a little bit.
Which happens sometimes, especially with comedy, which is what it is. So the film formerly known as Corpse Tub will be coming out. We'll be announcing, you know, its festival premiere soon. But it's an incredible cast. It's a story about a young couple from Ohio that moved to Los Angeles and score this impossibly cheap apartment. They can't understand why the rent is so cheap. And then they discover that it's because it was previously inhabited by the leader of a suicide cult. So every couple of nights, a kooky follower breaks in and performs this ridiculous ritual and then commits suicide in the bathtub. Isn't that funny? The film, despite that macabre description, is incredibly sweet and good-natured. Kate McCucci and Sam Huntington are in it. Dan Harmon is one of the leads in the film from Community, and he's a revelation. Taika Waititi directed Thor and Hunt for the Wilder People. He's in the film. Maria Bamford, Brian Posehn, Mark McKinney, Jay Lee. It's just an unbelievable lineup of just like this parade of cameos.
Fabulous cast.
Yeah, really great. So those are the things we can talk about, and then we've got a bunch of really exciting movies that are coming up that we're shooting in 2018 that we can't talk about yet, but watch your local trade mag.
Well, I'm sure Legion M will be.
Can you strike that from?
Or tune in to Legion M for more information.
Every town has their own local trade with what's going on in Hollywood. The Montana
Welders magazine.
Montana Industry Standard.
Yeah, that's it.
So Lisa, when you first heard about Legion M and what we were doing, and I know we were introduced a year ago, what did you guys think? Honestly, were you like, these people are crazy?
No. No, enthusiastic. And here's the thing. What it is that you guys do that's so special is you connect with fans. And that's meaningful to us and for filmmakers and for films to be able to find an audience. And the fact that you have people that join the Legion as this sort of community around content is so cool. So, I mean, I don't know. It sort of made so much sense to us immediately.
And we were introduced to you guys through the Colossal team. So, like, it was our friends that were like, hey, we just had a great experience working on Colossal. You should meet them. And
I did not. That's so funny. I did not know that.
That's the truth.
That's amazing.
Nacho Vigalondo and Tim Lee.
Tim sent you to me, and we developed a relationship. And then I started talking about the Legion all the time, and they thought I had joined Nicole, right?
What is Lisa talking about?
No, they thought it was so nuts. We did 2 cult films at the same time.
I think you're developing a brand.
Unrelated.
Yeah.
But, you know, the fun thing is, you know, we have Spectrovision, which is our genre label, does all of our, like, horror films, specialized films, very unique films. And then we have our parent company, Company X, that does everything else.
that does all the stuff that we can't tell you about.
Yeah, all that's true. But there were so many projects when we started talking to Legion M that with both companies that we were doing for fans that we talked to you guys and it made sense in a way that it wasn't to other people necessarily. They weren't immediately like, chainsaw fight and cults. You guys,
We were like, yes,
you love
please give
cults,
us more.
So.
Yeah.
I guess that's it. But yeah, we were excited.
I love your question is like, it's like we've been dating for a while, and you're like, oh, I was so nervous on our first date. What did you think of me?
Please make me feel that I'm doing okay.
You know what? We really like you too.
Thank you. I love you guys. So let's talk about Mandy. We were so privileged to read the script. We weren't ready to invest because we didn't have any money yet. And then we came back to you, and you guys were still open to us, and we love this project. Josh.
Yes.
What was it like shooting this?
It was... Wow. Sorry, no, that's... it was probably one of the most fulfilling creative experiences I've ever had. That's what it was like. It was extremely challenging. I mean, it was very hard. We shot the whole film in Belgium to double for the Pacific Northwest in 1983. And to, like, the credit of, like, our incredible Belgian crew, like, you would never know the difference. I mean, it is so accurate and beautiful, you know. But we had a lot of challenges. You know, a lot of the stuff that, you know, you don't want to rehash and you can look back on later as like, that was kind of funny. But at the time you're like, Jesus Christ. You know, it's rough. But when you have a filmmaker that, you know, you really believe in, it's like, it's kind of all worth it, you know.
Yeah.
It also makes it easy because I kind of joke around about, like, looking at going off to film production as, like, going off to battle, and that's how I kind of prepare for it. So I'm kind of ready for something gnarly to happen. So if it's going smooth, I'm kind of surprised, you know. So anyway, it was amazing.
We have someone here in the...
What?
There's someone...
Yeah, oh, speaking of unexpected. Holy crap! Oh, my God.
We have Nicolas Cage, guys. And, oh, my God.
Hey, Vince. Josh, nice to meet you, man.
And Vince Neil. That's amazing.
Here, have a seat. Have a seat.
Here,
Daniel,
come on in.
Take a seat. You're crashing. Get in here, Vince. Join us.
This is
Yeah, we're
amazing,
having
guys.
fun.
Here.
Do it. Anywhere.
Right here. Right here. Claire. Here.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Sorry. There you go.
No.
Oh, here. We have enough room, guys?
E.
All right. Hi. Guys, is this amazing? First of all, this is a complete surprise to me. Hello. Thank you for joining us. I'm so excited. And we were just talking about Mandy. We love this film. We're so excited for it.
So you already saw it?
No, well, I have seen it in 20-minute chunks.
Oh, very cool. I haven't seen anything, not one frame.
So
Not
tomorrow night's your first time.
Very first time.
You're a Mandy virgin until tomorrow night.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I wanted Vince to join me because Mötley is very present in the movie. Panos wanted a shirt from the 80s and also to use the record cover, the album cover. And so he said, are you still hanging with Vince? And I said, yeah. He said, well, can you ask him if we can use it? So
was that a hard ask?
No, but he was really cool about it.
Hey, anybody with a chainsaw, I mean, absolutely. That's very Mötley, you know.
So he was kind enough to let us use the record cover and also the T-shirt, which Andrea wears in the movie. So.
That's so. So when you called him and you said what this movie was about, how did you explain it?
I just said that there's a really extraordinary filmmaker who's an artist, and he has this powerful script, and he's a huge fan of yours, and really wants to have your T-shirt from the '80s in the movie, and he wants
So
really.
You gave him your actual T-shirt, right?
No, not his actual shirt.
No, all those wouldn't fit him, I don't think.
Well, he said, just let Vince know a really hot girl is going to wear the shirt in the movie, and we need to use the record cover because this is set in the 80s, and I'm a big fan of Vince. And so I said, well, all right, well, cool. And then he obliged, and then I said, well, I'm Vince, I want you to come with me. And then Panos said, well, if Vince shows up at Sundance, that's really going to melt my brain.
So is Panos here? Is his main brain melted? Yeah.
Why isn't Panos sitting with us?
Seriously,
I mean,
can we get Panos up here? Panos, come up. The director should be up here. That's amazing. Yes, please. So music is such a huge part of this film, too. And it's such a unique way. Yay! Panos, Cosmatos, everybody. Here. They're meeting for the first time. This is amazing. It's amazing. Yeah.
I'm going to go back.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
I guess we're all sitting
Here,
together.
you all sit. I'm going to stand. I'm going to stand and pretend. I'm going to pretend I'm Oprah, which I'm clearly not. You guys all good? So. This is musical chairs. Yeah.
That was the accurate depiction of what happened with Vince and the Mötley shirt and everything, right?
I couldn't hear a word from back there, but yes.
So I was just saying, music is such a huge part of this film. Right. Tell me about your choices in the music and why it was important to have this style of music. And it's heavy metal and speed metal,
well,
right?
There is heavy metal,
and
speed metal in it to a certain degree.
Okay.
But that's not entirely accurate. But.
Oh, okay. Well, tell me.
There's
We're
all kinds
so
of
loosey-goosey here. So
there's all kinds of different music in the movie.
Okay.
I mean, it's predominantly Johann's score and a King Crimson song.
Okay.
But for the character of Mandy, it was really important to me that she wore a Mötley Crüe T-shirt, as that was a huge part of my childhood. Specifically, Shower of the Devil and Too Fast for Love. So
you guys are meeting for the first time?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
which is insane.
That's amazing.
Which is insane because like Vince was on my wall as a kid growing up. Vince and the whole crew, literally. So it's insane. It's as trippy as fuck.
So I was just asking Josh before you guys came what the experience was like filming this movie. And I wanted to know from your perspective, with all the colors that he chose and how he shot it, what the experience was like for you, because it was such an intense character. Well,
I mean, it was total immersion. I saw Beyond the Black Rainbow, which Elijah, he told me about Mandy. He was the first person to tell me about the script, and have you seen Beyond the Black Rainbow? And so I watched it and couldn't sleep for a week after I saw it. And I said, yeah, I'd love to do the movie, but let me meet Panos. So I flew up to Vancouver, and we met and we talked. But there was another part he had in mind for me, and I wanted to play the other role, and so it took a little while. But I knew right away that what Panos was going to get up to would be original and be visionary. And so my whole thing was just about how can I service his vision, because he can create worlds, and I wanted to walk around in his world. And so that's why, when I was there, I was just taking total direction. It's kind of like when you have a remote control car, and you say, here's the controller, I'll be the car, you just push the buttons. That's pretty much how it went.
Yeah. So, Panos, when you guys first met,
yeah.
and you wanted him to play another part,
yeah.
and he was like, no.
Yeah.
How did...
Well, I really had my heart set on him in the other role, and I've been thinking about it in that role for a long time. So at first I was just kind of shell-shocked and was like, I could only picture you in the other role. And then we walked away, and then a few weeks later I woke up and was like, are we fucking stupid?
Like, are we crazy?
And then I started to so I really put my mind into thinking of Nick in the other role and realized that it would be like the greatest thing ever. And that I was an idiot, basically, for not having seen it immediately. And I think I was right.
So,
and Nick was right, more importantly.
There you go. You knew, though. You knew the whole time.
Yeah, I mean,
Here, I'm going to give you back the microphone.
I mean, I felt I had the emotional wherewithal to play Red, you know, and that was the part that spoke to me. So, yeah.
So Legion M is a fan-owned company, and we're a production partner on Mandy. What should the fans know about this film as they go into it?
Super good after a bong rip.
There you go. What about what would you say to the fans going into the movie, seeing it for the first time?
I'm going to be one of those fans. I haven't seen the movie, as I said. I once I see the movie, I can tell them what they can expect, but I haven't seen it.
Well, we have something behind you. Have you seen the big, huge version of this gorgeous poster?
No. Did you guys unveil that? I heard
well,
there
was unveiled earlier this week.
Oh.
It was on Entertainment Weekly on Tuesday, right? They unveiled it, and this is it.
Oh,
Look how gorgeous this is.
Well, I love the colors, and you designed that, didn't you?
No, the amazing artist called Christopher Schei made it, painted it, and I give full credit to him. He's a brilliant
Oh my God,
man.
it's amazing. So you're here for Mandy. We are also excited to be here. We're here for Legion M, fan-owned company. What can we do as a company to help Mandy be successful?
Spread the word.
Okay,
Tell
that's
everybody.
good. Yeah,
Mandy. You want to see Mandy? You want someone with the deepest of deep pockets should buy Mandy. I don't know, Disney. That's probably not the best fit, but just somebody. I was gonna say, I think it's unavoidable, but yeah, just talk about it. I mean, just when you see it, tweet about it. Tell your friends. Tell everybody. We're so proud of it, and we just want everybody to see it.
So
tell them if they want to see the most unique cinematic experience of the last decade, they will go see Mandy immediately.
Yeah, and I say, look, there aren't movies like this anymore. It's you know, we live in the movie business reflects the economy. There's like the 1% and everybody else. It's very rare that there's a film that has the vision and scale of a blockbuster, which this does. It has the elements of a blockbuster, but it is through the lens of an artist. You can't find that at the multiplex. This lives in a really special place, and I think we just know in our hearts that there are people out there like us sitting up here who are desperate for that kind of movie.
And hopefully it will be at the multiplex. That's what we want.
Well, Panos, you were so kind to give us a quote when we unveiled some of the production art. And you said, it's a challenging and outlandish movie, but I also hope a very entertaining and moving one.
Yeah.
So tell us about the challenging and outlandish part. Because we're dying to know what that means.
I don't know. I think the movie's sort of, you have to see it, and then you'll know what I mean. I mean, it's a strange, immersive, weird film, but you know, I also think it has elements, really emotional elements, and funny elements, and exciting elements as well. So
I have a question, and I hope it doesn't spoil it for anyone. There's a scene where you and Andrea are. Whoa. No. I have one. There are no scenes. There are no scenes in the whole movie. All right.
The movie doesn't exist. We made it up.
I'll ask you tomorrow. There's a particular reference. It's kind of an insider reference. Okay, so I do have a question from the audience. How long do we have to wait until we can see a trailer? Anybody know?
I would say in the next...
We're working on it.
They're working on it.
The problem is it's such a unique film. Like, why Panos can't pick out the words is because you need to see it to experience it. So we kind of a little bit want to hold it back and just be like, see it. So we're building excitement because when the trailer gets out, I think people are going to lose their minds. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we were having this is a Facebook live stream. So we have questions coming in from the fans. Do we have any other questions coming in?
I think you got answered those.
Okay, great. Oh, yay.
Awesome.
So, yeah, oh, go ahead. So this has been such a pleasure. I'm so excited to see this movie. I know we're all very excited to see this movie. And we were trying to buy tickets. Half the people in this room don't even have tickets for it. So they're going to be waiting outside. in the snow, in line, very eager.
Thankfully, it's really warm outside. It actually is.
Yeah.
It's unseasonably warm.
Yeah. So, any other questions from the audience? Guys, we have Vince Neil and Nicolas Cage here. Come on. This is freaking amazing. Okay.
So, I'm a chicken when it comes to horror. I'm a chicken when it comes to horror movies. Okay. I really want to see Mandy. I want to. She's looking at Lisa, and she's like, I don't know about that. I want to know: is it something that I can see that won't scare the bejesus out of me when I try to go home and go to sleep?
It's not a horror film.
It's not horror.
But there are horrific things that happen. In the movie.
See? Like,
But it's worth it. That's what I'm going to say. Even if you do have a couple nightmares, they're going to be really cool nightmares.
I don't know that it's nightmare inducing. I don't know.
The artistry.
I'm the wrong person to ask.
Yeah, well, so the movie is violent, but there's a lot of artistry in it. How do you balance the two?
It's not balanced as far as I'm concerned. I mean, if the movie calls for violence, then that's just a part of it, and there's no reason to hold back with it or tone it down. But I don't know. I don't think the movie crosses any lines for me anyway. But, but maybe I'm the wrong person to ask about that.
So, who inspires you?
Jesus, that's a pretty.
We have it. Jesus inspires Panos. That was a good answer. You want to leave it at that? What are you going to say?
It'll be even funnier after you see the movie.
There's a specific inspiration for this movie, right?
Yeah.
This was born out of something really specific for you.
Mostly Turkish Star Wars. And that's what I was really thinking about the most.
Turkish Star Wars. Has anyone seen Turkish Star Wars?
I have not seen.
It's incredible. Turkish E.T. Has anyone seen that? Oh boy.
What is Turkish Star Wars and E.T.?
Turkish Star Wars was just a Turkish ripoff of Star Wars. But I actually find it to be an incredibly beautiful piece of art because some of the things that sort of have inspired me are sort of like the rip-off versions of legitimate things like Star Wars and things like that, you know? And I'm sort of enamored of these worlds that live in a sort of weird nether zone between the official and the unofficial. And they're sometimes, you know, straight up illegal because they violate IP law or whatever. So you can't even. But yeah, I don't know. That's a big. I mean, sort of the core inspiration for this film was an experience I had when I was a kid, where we lived in Guadalajara, Mexico, and the guy that lived in a bungalow next to us, lived in a bungalow complex, was a narc cop, and he had like flowing long hair, and he wore aviator sunglasses, and he rode a Harley, and he would like practice his Magnum against the wall of the complex, just like blowing holes in the wall with his Magnum. And one like evening there was like a lightning storm, and the guy, I was outside on the lawn playing, and the guy came riding on his Harley wearing his aviators with his lady, you know, riding behind him on the Harley, and he saw me and he rode right in front of me and like did fucking 180s on the fucking lawn, and there was literally lightning like striking above him, and he burned off. And in
Did the light bulb go off right there for you?
In my mind, that's the Red Miller character. That's where Red Miller came from.
So you're a fan of genre. I know you're a fan of comic books and all of these types of things. What inspired you for the Red character as you were crafting how to play this?
Well, I was through discussions with Panos that we agreed on a kind of mix between Bruce Lee and Jason from the Friday the 13th movies. So I can't go into too much detail, but there's a metamorphosis that occurs, a transmutation from more of like a high action vocal, high speed intensity a la Bruce Lee, which is one of my heroes. He is one of my heroes. Going into a more, after a certain thing happens, into a more statuesque, Jason-like flavor. So Panos and I kind of worked that out or graphed that out together.
to have that kind of arc in a film is.
Yeah, there had to be a transmutation at some point, and it's from that kind of more tiger dragon-like energy to a more monolith kind of golem-like energy.
Oh, that's cool. I really can't wait to see it. We have a Facebook question, so.
We have one more question from Facebook.
Okay.
Was, did any of you experience a supernatural oddity during filming?
Did I don't know if they heard that, but did any of you?
There's actually a scene in the film where we were shooting on Nick for a long time, and we were tracking out him, and I feel that Nick's eyes changed color into like bright demonic yellow during the course of that tape.
He's that good of an actor. He did that. He actually did that.
But the weirdest thing, and I don't know this about myself, but the weirdest thing is that after Panos told me that had happened, I said, you're not the first director that's told me that. Brian Taylor said that my eyes turned color when I was doing Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. So I don't know what's going on. And,
that's crazy.
Can you suggest somebody I should call?
So we are actually bringing a medium here on Saturday night. On Saturday night, if you want to come back, you can sit with her.
No, I'm going to leave things the way they are.
I would too. That stuff freaks me out. So, Vince, we have you here. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you what your inspirations are.
Inspirations?
Yeah. When you're writing music and you're being creative, what gets your juices
like
going?
Nick Cage movies.
Yes!
This is it. Yeah.
We're old friends, as you might be able to tell. We're both Las Vegas together.
Is that how you guys met? Vegas?
Yeah, we met at probably the last Beach Boys concert with Brian playing, right? That's where we met in Vegas. Brian Wilson was performing with the Beach Boys, and that's how Vince and I connected.
That was my first concert ever, Beach Boys. I was 13. Also the first time I ever smelled pot.
So here we go again.
There we go. We have another question from online. Is it a coincidence, this is for Panos, that the time period in Mandy is the same as Beyond the Black Rainbow?
No, it's not a coincidence. I actually feel like the Black Rainbow and this film are actually kind of like the yin and yang to each other. And one way that I've described it is that if Black Rainbow was an inhale about control, then this movie's an exhale about release and like emotion.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Look, I love that your whole team here is like, oh, that's really cool. It's the first time they heard that.
They just made that shit up. No, it's true. It's true.
So do we have other questions from... Okay. Any other questions from the audience? Do you guys have questions for each other? No? No? All right. So we're about to shut down because we are, and this is for the Facebook audience, we're hosting a party here tonight for the cast and crew of Mandy. Thank you guys so much for coming. It is such an honor for us to have you on our live stream, and particularly for me. Thank you for being so kind to me as I trip over my words, Daniel. I really appreciate it. No, because he saved me. He's my savior. Yeah. Thank you. So everyone, round of applause for our amazing... And that's it for Legion M Live tonight.